shooting on the chat today.
Fuck.
I played a video on the 144.
Hold on, guys, hold on. Where we got sound?
We got sound. Dios mío.
What the fuck?
Good
day.
Gentlemen, we're live.
Flat Out Fever, episode 85.
Yes.
Shiggity shot, 85.
It's too many.
No, not too many. Not enough. Hello, everybody. Everybody that's tuned in or tuning in right now, or if you're listening to this in another day, well, hello to you
Another
too.
space time.
Another dimension.
Oh yeah,
Perhaps.
that too, man. Come on, of course.
We know you're listening.
This is gonna be a packed show. I can guarantee you that.
Yes.
It's gonna be a juicy one. So many juicy news.
What's this show even called?
I think we called it Mexico's Cursed Thirds.
Flat Out Fever.
There we go. Yeah, and we are going to start this week's episode by going over the a bit of the action at the Mexican Grand Prix and talking about the race and building up to the race as well, because there's lots of stuff that happened there, but there's also lots of stuff that happened after with driver movements, some announcement about some tracks. There's just other stuff going on, and in particular we're also going to talk about the news of Ross Brawn. Brown. Did I say that? Ross Brawn.
Mr. Brown and Mr. Brown, actually.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Zach Brown.
Yeah, both of them.
That's the confusion.
The
Brown and Braun combo.
Good things coming up for F1. All that to come. Before though we get into that, I just want to take a quick minute and say
Unit Z.
Oh well.
Sorry. I
Two things. First, I want to say thank you to everybody that came to Betty's for to watch the Mexican Grand Prix with us. That was amazing.
So much fun.
Yeah, one of the best turnouts, and it was just fun.
So many nachos, so many half-price nachos.
Yeah, and we had this couple that just came from was visiting Toronto from Britain, stopped by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was very cool. Oh yeah, you were too hungover.
Yeah,
too.
I was. There's
this old
another British dude.
Yeah, this guy, Bill. He also came like from England and like I guess Googled us or whatever. So after a year or so, like what's going on, dude? Oh,
yeah,
did you not? Oh man.
Oh no.
Sorry to everybody that's watching right now.
The video. Another guy from the Netherlands.
Yeah, he had to leave before the whole drama.
He had a plane to catch.
Anyway, yeah. So thanks everybody for showing up to our screenings of F1 at Betty's. Yeah. Very, very cool.
Tons of fun.
We've been having a lot of fun, and obviously we will keep doing them
Betty's
for
loves
the remainder of the year. So that's right up until Abu Dhabi. The next one should be good. If you're thinking of coming by, please do. We will be doing the Brazilian Grand Prix live. And the bar is gonna let us come in at 10:30. So come and show up. It's gonna be 11 o'clock our time in Toronto. Now, Mexican Grand Prix.
Unit Z. The off-brand downforce. He's he said he poured his own. This is a comment on YouTube here. I made myself a cheap version of Downforce to drink. It's a knockoff Red Bull type of drink and a cheap beer. It's not that nice, so just pounded half, and I'm calling it a Sauber. But
we were listening to that just before you said it. And
some interesting news came out about Sauber this week, though. We'll get to that after the race review or whatever, but interesting.
So we're doing these.
Might have to change the name of the knockoff Downforce. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So the weekend started with a lot of speculation around what was gonna happen. Was Rosberg was gonna
every aspect.
Yeah, well, of course
is being speculated.
And just particularly going back to the driver's press conference as soon as they got to Mexico. There were a bunch of journalists that were just hounding Nico Rosberg, basically just to get a reaction of him. What is specifically as a fallout of this comment that Bernie Ecclestone made, that even if he wins the championship, there's just not going to be anything to write about.
Not going to be good. It's not going to be good for F1. Yeah.
Not good for F1 because he's not fun to write about or something like that. There's nothing to write about him.
Yeah, that he's like a piece of stale bread or something like that. He just kind of sits there. He's like, oh, well, this is how I do my answers in the press conference, And I don't think about that. I don't think about that at all.
And as usual, the British media obviously was trying to get a reaction out of him. He stuck to his mantra of I'm just focusing day by day and doing this thing.
I don't think about the championship. I only think about the race.
Yeah, whatever it is, and I'm gonna do the best that I can, which is winning this race, which he didn't. And Hamilton, I think, just let's put this out there. He had a great start. Well, I mean, he had a good start. A start that allow him to kind of approach the corner. He did cut the grass.
He did.
There, and that obviously gave us that's gonna be one of the big talking points about that for sure.
Yeah, that first corner was ridiculous.
But they both did. Crucially, both Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, they both did again what they had to do, just like last week. Just like the week before.
No, the highlighted.
There's no highlighted one.
It says first corner.
Don't stop second.
Anyway, so they just did what they needed to do to keep both their championship fights alive, and that's one thing that can be taking.
You mean cheating? So here's the two lines that they did. Lewis Hamilton kind of got forced off, and so did Rosberg. Lewis Hamilton just went crazy. He was going faster, so he just kind of went crazy. He outbraked himself a bit, and look at that. Mm-hmm. He is 30 meters from the apex, right? But we can't show a video clip because it's F1 and you can't do that. But if you see Rosberg, he's heading in a straight line, down the perpendicular to the racing track, right? Mm-hmm. Just off the track. But what he did was before he hit the corner, right where that red line is, that was the racing line he chose. So he chose when he was already going in control, in direction that he should be towards the corner, right? He probably would have gotten an accident with the Red Bull beside him if he had gone straight, but he decided to cheat. He cut across. Neither of the two of them got in any trouble for that.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Right? If you Shouldn't have they got in trouble? I felt like that when I saw it, I was like, whoa.
Well, especially when you look at the end of the race.
Yeah.
We get there in a second. But Rosberg, clearly, he was going in control in the direction of the corner that he should be to stay on or get back on the track. But he cut it.
Just as a show.
Because he saw Hamilton ahead of him. He's cheating. I got to catch up to him. He cheated too.
Hang on a second.
I think there's more of a chance if Rosberg hadn't done it, it wouldn't have looked as chaotic, the whole grid on the first corner there. And Hamilton might have got a penalty for that. Because then he would have been the only car that cut way across the grass by himself.
Let's just, real quick around the table. Just a quick yes or no, racetrack limits should be respected at all times. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That's pretty obvious.
That's what I've been saying every single day.
Okay, so we all at least the three of us right now agree on that. And yeah, that is true. We have been saying that for a while. But just to be the devil's advocate here, and as to this first corner, first lap incident, it used to be back in the day that stewards never even looked at whatever happened during the first lap. It used to be
they didn't have the technology for the replays.
No, but hang on, no. There was also an element of
let them race,
let them race, like a gentleman's respect.
Let them figure it out.
But this was also the time when, if you remember, if something bad happened, people died. People were dead. So because that was present in everybody's mind, topmost. And people especially back in the day when people were dying all the time, every race there was at least one death. Then they all had that much more respect when engaging in tracks. Now that F1 has become a lot safer, right? And there's all these big runoffs or whatever, and we still have, like, you know, we don't have as many deadly accidents in F1 on track or off track or whatever. Then we're stuck with this situation now where where do you draw the line between let's let them race and let's make sure that there's still some, you know, some respect to the regulations, because it has to be.
Oh yeah, definitely there has to be consequences worse than some bad social media. You get some dirty tweets in the morning or after the race, right? Or Max gets the driver of the day again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For the most part, sand traps have been too dangerous, unless they're in certain strategic spots where the cars aren't going too fast or too sharp of an angle to catch them like that. Grass is too slippery, especially if there's walls there. Paved runoffs are boring. People were suggesting this weekend, why don't they put puddles on the runoffs so that the cars have to get wet tires for like a few corners. I don't know, but everyone said that was stupid.
One of our viewers right now just asked, so do we subscribe to the idea that first corner incidents in lap 1 should be judged more carefully? I can see where that comes from, because it should be less carefully, which is what they do basically anyways. Like, as in more carefully, as in you have to think about it more, like, you know, should they actually get the penalty, should they not, whatever, all these like implications. That's precisely how it was before, right? Like, that's they kind of allowed them to do that because, you know, for first turn, very unpredictable and all that. But at this point, I think it's getting too subjective. It's, if anything, right now, like, these stewards and the people that, because they change all the time, right? The people that basically decide whether or not a certain incident is punishable and by how much or whatever. It changes race by race sometimes. And it's not consistent because they claim that, you know, you have to really think about it. You have to really look at all the angles and like consider every single circumstance on its own. That's leaving a lot up for discussion.
Massa last week after the US Grand Prix, he wrote a sort of a blog or something, and he said that he didn't have so much fun there or something, and that he was complaining about Alonso with his final battle there where he caused the puncture. Mm-hmm. And whatever, he didn't get a penalty. He was saying or complaining, I don't know exactly what his tone was, that Alonso was friends with the stewards at that weekend.
Which weekend? I mean?
The US Grand Prix weekend.
At Austin?
Stop reading this shit. Yeah, in Austin.
Well,
that's Massa wrote a little blog.
Yeah, but Massa's been complaining a lot about stuff recently, and Jesus Christ, Felipe Massa, like, settle down.
He's going to be with Williams next year, and that's going to be his job, is to be complaining about things.
Who's going to be with Williams?
Is it Massa? He's going to be hanging around. I'm pretty sure he signed a contract with him to be like a driver coach, some sort of background guy. Not in the car.
No.
But he's working with Williams.
Oh, I didn't know
in
that.
The team garage.
I believe. I wasn't aware of that.
I'll find it in a minute.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Rick, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't, and that the stewards are not completely impartial to all this, but sometimes it does seem like, you know, they're giving certain drivers certain leeways. This is what's creating the whole, like, you know, this whole argument even in the first place, the inconsistency. And I know that that's been sort of a talking point for the whole year, and actually for quite some time now, that there is definitely that issue that some drivers, that both drivers and the spectators, the people on the grandstands, don't know what's going to happen. So as a consequence of the on-track action, sometimes it's some incidents are being judged as infringing the rules, and some are not. Like, some people are getting let off. Should that happen? No, of course not. Should it be like should should we completely rewrite the rules now, like they did with, or issue these clarifications more and more? I also think that that's not the right way to go.
No, it's too soft. It's too soft.
Martin Brundle said one thing, like or I forgot if it was somebody, actually, yeah, I think it was Martin Brundle. He was saying that, listen, yeah, I think this was, we brought it up in the last podcast. This was prior to Austin, or right after Austin, that it's done in other motor series, man. It's done like other car series, especially sports cars, when they have a ton of cars on the track. They are enforcing the track limits for them by using a number of electronic means, like either putting like pressure pads on the outround or whatever. More than just that stupid, what is it that they tried to do before? With F1, they tried to enforce it with the transponder, with a transponder and a sensor that measured.
They tested it a bit
tangentially at one point on the corner. Of course that wasn't gonna work properly, and it didn't work properly there. But just because that piece of technology didn't work for F1 doesn't mean that another given piece of technology would, and it has to be.
Part of the problem for F1, I guess, is that the circuit is so big. So like setting that up on a 5 or 6 kilometer circuit is expensive and a lot of work to maintain and all that. Putting multiple sensors on the corner, transponders, receivers for those, and then main hub back at the controls at the garage, controls for all that. Somebody to monitor it.
Listen,
and see which cars are going over it.
Well, I mean, geez, either you do that or you do what Bernie was saying about putting walls. He's gonna build a wall.
Yeah. If they ever get these drones, that's what I was saying. Eventually, we can get maybe like a drone that just hangs over each corner and can watch.
Why not?
Can watch it.
We were saying that like it was a crazy thing. We were joking about it. Track limit drones, but honestly, like they make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
or
that could really work.
Anything like that, man. The technology is there to make these things easier. For like, it could be a lot easier, a lot more clear cut. Car leaves the track, it has to get some sort of a penalty or track, within reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, like once you have that technology, then you can start asking other questions like, oh, should we be more lenient during the first corner, first lap? That comes after. First, make sure that at least for the rest of the race, for the remainder of the race, there are some clear-cut track limits and expectations of what's going to happen when you leave the track. Are they going to have to spend more money to, and really some time to like really develop some sort of a system to make sure that there's compliance? Yeah, but it's totally worth it for the sake of the sport.
The drones thing is great because you can easily pack those up in a travel case, open it up at the next circuit, power them with a tether. You have a cameraman or somebody that just sits there and monitors each one, and
you'll invest some time into like making some solid programming to make sure that they can be autonomous in like keeping an eye. But that's all within the realm of the technology that we have today. You have drones right now, like camera drones that you can buy just for like less than $300 that have a setting right now, like that you just like tell it to follow you, and then you go snowboarding or doing whatever, and the drone knows that you're there and it follows you. Drones can do this now.
And they have algorithms. You can say like do a circle shot, and it will follow you and circle around.
So exactly. Awesome. So why not just put a bunch of these drones out for two things, like take some pictures of the track and whatever, like some content, some extra content, extra points of view, and enforce some track limits. This can be done, and coupling that with like another number of technologies will make track limits enforceable for all the sectors of the track and for all the drivers. There's only 20 of them, 22, whatever. There's other series with 100 cars on track, and if they can do it, don't tell me that F1 can't figure this out, because they can.
Yeah, they definitely can. Especially when it's blatant, when it's done in a move, like an overtaking move or something like that.
Once they figure that out, which should be priority for them, but obviously it's not going to be, because they'd rather keep their little club with like their little bureaucracy and like bullshit favorite trading. But if they were serious about like making some changes for the future of the sport to really like it's ridiculous when a fan tunes in, especially like people that just wanna get to the sport. There's a bunch of people out there right now that want to start liking F1. Bill Burr being one of them, you know what I mean? Like there's tons of people out there that are just starting to get into F1.
Venus and Serena Williams, and
they tune in, and if they notice like that there's all this leeway and this uncertainty and the rules are just basically made up as we go, that's what it looks like right now, man.
Yeah, and then these guys acting like little bitches afterwards, calling each other names, and he said this, but then he brake checked me.
That's the other shit. Like, and then changing the results of the race after the race.
Changing the results 2 times.
Come on, like this has gotta stop, man.
Maybe once, like maybe that could have made sense, or like once in a while, but two in one race that's insane.
And I have something to say about that I'm sure I'll rant about later.
I couldn't find the Massa story, but I found that he's planning on a working return he wants to stay in the F1 paddock.
Who?
Massa.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking for. I can't find the Williams story, but I saw it somewhere. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's staying with Williams though. But he wants to work for sponsors or some kind of just hang around.
Just wheeling and dealing. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's probably got a lot of buddies there.
Oh yeah.
No, it's fun to travel around. Whatever. Well, he'll be around.
Whatever. Going back.
Anyway.
So going back to the race, we kind of derailed there after the first corner, but that. Whatever happened and whatever came out of the first corner incident was basically determined what was going to happen later on in the race. Now, Lewis cutting that corner so hard, I feel like maybe the stewards would have looked into it a little more if there hadn't been that safety car later on that bunched everybody up. Right, so whatever, that's how they look at it. Apparently, like it has to be a lasting advantage, and whatever lasting advantage he would have accumulated, as little as it could have been, as it was, got negated by the safety car. And then after the safety car, we had, a race that it wasn't a snooze fest, but it wasn't the most exciting for about an hour and a bit until the end. Until those last 10 laps, and it was crazy because so the way that we have it set up at Betty's is we have because you have 2 TVs now, so we have the big screen, the biggest of them, showing the race, and then off to the side we had the live timing and driver tracker,
the app, the F1 app, basically the official
app. But so when we were watching it, I kept looking at how the tire situation, because that's basically what made the end of the race what it was. Everybody trying to do crazy things with those tires, making them last 50 laps.
I think somebody did 70 laps. I think.
Yeah.
Can you find the full results from the F1? Yep. F1.com. Yeah, I think somebody did 70 laps. There was a bunch of long stints. They went out and did one. I said that like. It might have even been during the qualifying when we were talking, like they could have brought the ultra softs to Mexico for sure.
Yeah.
Like they were predicting that maybe you could do 50 or 51 on the mediums, and then end up getting way, way past that. Most cars did it easily. The highest speed of all time as well. 171 and a half or something, 172 and a half, something crazy.
All right. Hang on a second. Mike, this is like...
What's up?
It's still like...
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like
internet's
should we take a break and then come back?
I don't know. I've checked all my computers; they're fine. There's nothing wrong. I haven't checked yours. Sometimes things leach in the background.
Yeah, I guess so.
I got everything.
But that's the last thing I can check. If it's not those things, then
everything's closed on my computer. Sorry for people listening on the stream. Sorry for MP3 listeners if we're annoying you.
Yeah,
the internet's not working today, but you can watch it after still.
Yeah. Anyway, so we when we were watching the tire situation and we were thinking, man, like it's all gonna unravel right at the end, as it did. Yeah, it was awesome because
cars started losing grip and control.
Everybody's sliding all over the place. Yeah. Lighter cars due to the fuel loads. That was great to see.
Yeah,
that was in that fight. Well, actually, there are great fights all over, but obviously, like right at the top, that's the one that we're talking about between Sebastian Vettel, the 2 Mercedes, and the 2 Red Bulls.
Yeah, just the whole race. There was, well, it was predicted all the way from practice and qualifying that these cars are going to be pretty close all weekend, and they were. So Max Verstappen crossed the line in 3rd place.
Sorry, let me.
Sebastian Vettel took the trophy on the podium. And then after the whole race, Daniel Ricciardo was handed off the trophy because Vettel got a 10-second penalty for moving under braking, which he's been complaining for weeks about against Max Verstappen, that this guy, he can't be driving like this. It's not a style of driving. Danny Rick said on Saturday that it's moving under braking isn't real racing. And then that gave him the moving under brake. I guess it's not. It's still whatever. Gave him the trophy though.
Well, what is it that you want to do, Mike?
I was just gonna change some things, but
finish
what you're saying.
Are we gonna stop the show?
Yeah,
this is crazy.
Finish what you're talking about.
I'll just stop it now. It's fucking broken.